Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with a former world champion Terran in the blue. It's Micro Jackson, ByuN. Facing off against Team Basilisk's own Italian Stallion, the Zerg in the red, we have Reynor. In a best of 5 Terran versus Zerg Grand Finals to another edition of Team Basilisk's Big Brain Bouts, where every Friday night on Roddy's channel, the top players get together to show off their smartest plays. Though not nearly as smart as those of you who've already smashed that like button. Or even better, subscribed. And Jimmy, what are we at? Well, it doesn't hurt to be nice. Well, you're an exception. 1,608 likes on this video, on this cast, and I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways, because I don't know what else I'd do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully, you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. As the drones already being harassed in the workplace, the Zerglings will try to zone them out, trying to get just a bite of that Reaper for long enough to hold it down, but a fool's errand with the unit that ByuN has gotten nerfed twice and is always looking for thrice. And the creep tumor, well, pops the queen to the side alongside the lings, picks off one, but high ground vision isn't quite there. Reynor did manage to take his third base before the Reaper could get in the way. ByuN didn't do the cheeky SCV scout into hatchery block. So Reynor will be able to get 3 hatches in a relatively timely manner, which will leave the annoyance about the early game Terran pressure at a moderate, manageable level. So, behind this, ByuN, third command center, of course, on the way. Starport as well. And the Destiny Cloudfist build, as I heard it called in a fever dream at some point, is coming together. Barracks Factory and Starport giving you access to pretty much the entire tech shrubbery for Terran, but almost always some combination of Hellions and Cloak Banshees. Well, the Hellions are a mainstay. The Starport units are a bit more of a mixed bag. One of those exciting things that you never know what you're going to get as a Zerg player. Are you going to get poked and prodded by Liberators? Are you going to get harassed by invisible flying missile pods? Or, even better, is a capital ship going to teleport behind your mineral line before you have any anti-air that isn't Queens? Banshees it is. Cloak is on the way. As the Queen's gathering, we're on Arrowhome, one of our community maps. Not on the ladder pool, but more and more community tournaments kind of taking cartography into their own hands, and I'm here for it. This map has created some of our most interesting games over the last few months. The Reaper knocked out of the sky as it bounces itself up. Oh, the creep tumor eventually will be taken out, but not an expert oncologist here. As ByuN takes critical... That SCV, yes. Yeah, of course. Woo, overtime! Yeah. Totally meant to do that. Yes. No, Billy! Okay, alright. Well, butter my biscuit. Oh, no. Well, that... an inauspicious start for ByuN, as the scouting SCV is coming out just a little bit late. And totally not a miss rally. Okay, he doesn't make mistakes. He makes happy little accidents. Another creep tumor. But the Queens will be enough to drive it back for now. Double engineering bay. Double barracks behind. Is he really going to try to poke in again? The creep spread has been very efficient thus far out of Reynor. More Queens. All right, tag teaming it. We said co-op mission, not tag teaming. That sounds inappropriate. Brenda, not game one. Not game one. All right, people are going to make weird comments. They always do. Sorry, blacked out front. Layers on the way, but notably no evolution chambers from Reynor. Does that mean Mutas? No, well, Baneling speed and double upgrades. Okay. I got a little ahead of myself. But if there was anyone who was going to make Mutalist work, and I hope at some point in this series we see it, Reynor is maybe the only Zerg, including Cyril with the APM, to regularly control Mutas. He usually averages between 600 and 700, and Mutas tack on another 100 to 200 on that. It's actually hilarious seeing his APM average go up with the Mutas to just obscene levels, like 900. I think it's like 800 something, but it may have been against ByuN, probably Clem, but, you know, like father, like son, metaphorically. Reynor. 1-1 upgrades on the way. ByuN's going to have a 60-second advantage. But Queen's taking out some more of the Hellions. The Valley of Death, or the Death Canyon. Not sure. I'm taking names for this, but the two sets of rocks down the center creating quite a dramatic choke point. Macro hatch on the way outside the third base. Banshees driven back over the luscious yet abandoned or ruined city that this map is based. Is that tank stuck? Has to open another door just to get out. But, well, your mother's also used to that. So, 1-1 on the way for both sides. We're going into our standard macro game. With both players, well, ByuN's at 69 SCVs, which is a solid baseline economy, but Reynor has exploded up to over 80 drones and counting. And we're not even 8 minutes in. Hydralisk Den is about to complete. Fourth base is coming online, and, well, ByuN will have an opportunity to kind of shave away at the edges of the creep and maybe pick off a couple queens and some lings, but I seriously doubt he's going to make much progress towards a game-ending attack. The Marines double drop to the north. 3 more racks on the way. There's a second factory on the field. Full macro out of ByuN. Banelings rolling in, but he just slurps up the Marines into the medevacs and boosts away and pretends it never happened. Zoning spore crawlers on the perimeter, and that's enough. That's enough for ByuN to turn around for now. The Queens ambling off of the creep. Notably no infestation pit yet out of Reynor. No options to go up to hive quite yet. He's going to languish or alternatively luxuriate at Lair Tech. But not for too long. Infestation pit begins. The drop at the back. And Reynor didn't actually spot it, so looks like ByuN will get a pick off here. Queen's pin cushioning some of the medevacs. A couple transfuses. Keeps everyone topped off. And for now, still building up. Reynor nearly maxed out with an infestation pit finishing. He didn't start those 2-2 upgrades. Thank you. Oh, +2 carapace on the way. The double drop in the corner. Does the watchtower reach? No. It only reaches to the base. So there is an opportunity to sneak around the corner. And wow, the creep spread already extending past Death Canyon. The Bone Trench, if you would. Not really a trench, but yet. Literally put in the corner by the Hydralisk, but ByuN has actually more workers because he's been autopiloting the SCVs. 87 and counting. 3 Marauders on the way, concussive shell. Fourth base well established, and it looks like we're opening things up with a full-bore macro game. Here's the thing. This is not a huge map. There aren't that many bases to take. It's going to be the top left corner and the bottom right that are contested by armies on the relatively open field. Yes, there's ramps and choke points and some rocks to take down, but there's not a lot of space between Reynor's 5th base and ByuN's 4th. Hive just now beginning. 2-2 upgrades, about a minute advantage out of ByuN. So maybe an opportunity, but he's at 92 SCVs, which is actually arguably too many. He's working on the Iron Bank of command centers, though. 1 queen. Where are you going to go? Who are you going to call? And why don't they put tactical jumps in the medevacs? Well, the Spore Crawler in position, but well, they'll expect some of us in the wreckage, brothers. 1 Spore Crawler is taken down, but these I smell dead Terran. Oh, okay, Brad. Don't beat your... Oh, down they go. ByuN just kind of wandering into it. I don't know if he had it on a different hotkey or thought he was safe for a moment, but clearly did not continue to be, as Reynor has taken so much of the map already, and he's working on both corners. The Banshee is also involved. Medevac, painfully slow without the afterburners. Looks like the other medevac was taken down as well. But the command center count continues to grow. 5 command centers at a time. More CCs right now than a poorly formatted corporate email chain. And finally, a Spire is on the way for Reynor. Most of the battle has been fought in the production tab, as both sides have... Neither player has committed in any meaningful way to an attack. ByuN with a couple drops, and Reynor with his first Hydraling Bane assault. There's already 6,000 minerals and 2,000 gas in the bank. ByuN at 1k, 1k, but remember, he's investing in the future. Invest in Orbital Command, the OC, if you would. Meanwhile, adrenal glands, lurker dead. Okay, just everything. The entire buffet table. We're just missing the Ultralisk Cavern. Not even Reynor taking a step that far. But, filling out the tech tree. Meanwhile, ByuN is filling his tech tree, and by that I mean he's building ghosts. So, there are 10 ghosts on the field. For those who've been under a rock for about 6 months, ghosts now cost 3 supply, as opposed to 2, meaning slightly less ghosts in a maxed out army composition, especially when you already have 92 SCVs. Planetary Fortress on the high ground. Reynor contested. Another siege tank kind of hung out to dry here. Once the ghost count gets high enough, at some point it's better to, well, ultra late game units, not literally ultras, but things like ultras and broodlords become a liability. Hydraling Bane is actually preferable. But without those very late game kind of siege breakers, well, it is also difficult. So Reynor's building up the bank. Reynor has historically had a Is he really going to build planetaries? All right, settle in. The turtle shell is hardening. We'll see if he has high-sec auto-tracking and building armor queued up for right after the 3-3 upgrades. No infestors on the horizon. Another planetary going to be... He does. Those building upgrades already set up as a natural progression into the supreme late game. Feels like we skipped any sort of mid game, and here we are. 60 more lings on the way, and Reynor. How hard will he try to outright break this? And how much will he focus on teching up? Because I think it's on Reynor to decide, at least for the foreseeable future. This is one of the hardest things to... It seems obvious. Well, depending on how it goes, it's either going to look dumb or smart. But there's no wrong calls here. But there are definitely more right ones. Hydras, Lings, and Banes from every angle as Reynor just trying to collapse on the army, melting through the front line. A lot of the ghosts get caught out. Planetary Fortress taken down. And Reynor cuts off a couple command centers and a critical mass of ghosts as well. Another 54 Zerglings in production. Meanwhile, ByuN smoothly moving into a more McDonald's-oriented composition. He's got smart servos. He's got Blue Flame on the way. 3 siege tanks, 2 liberators. And now, personal cloaking for the ghosts. Building armor is about to complete. They want more and more of the army to be part of the mech composition, as opposed to the malleable bile. Those rocks, the Zerg caught between them in a hard place right now as the siege tanks continue to shell. Incredibly notably, not a single spellcaster outside of the Queens for Reynor. No Vipers, no Infestors. Reynor now has both corners of the map. He has mined... Actually, ByuN has mined more gas. That's kind of crazy. Though, we're not quite in the bean counter phase yet. Here comes another wave of Hydraling Bane. Picks up what he can, pulls back, runs away with the rest. Orbital Command just kind of left out. Corruptors are also here like it's a campaign mate. It's like 2 Corruptors. I don't know what they're doing here. Changelings running back home with the Zerg. Missile and flyer attack, level 1 about to complete. And Reynor, our first admission that this might not end like a tower defense game. A single Viper in production. Both players still with over 80 workers. The snipes come out, and he snipes the Overseers, which is a bit vengeful. I was trying to find a word there, but not came to mind. We went with vengeful. All right, I stand by it. I'll sit, but... More ghosts gonna go down, but these attacks are becoming... So, ByuN has destroyed 8,000 minerals and 2,300 gas in the last minute. Reynor at 3K 1,500. So the numbers don't lie, Reynor, and they spell disaster for you if this keeps up. He doesn't have such a massive bank that he can just literally throw away armies to kill a single command center. Right now, ByuN has more scans than a Costco checkout. 7 orbital commands. He's got the buildings tab is taking up an uncomfortable amount of the screen. He's got 7 orbital commands, 3 planetary fortresses, 1 stock command center somewhere. Yeah, waiting to expand to the 6 o'clock position. But Reynor has rethought this idea. He's got the Viper, literally just the Viper. No, 3 Vipers. Okay. Working on those +2 upgrades for the ancillary Zerg units. But ByuN has slowly but surely carved out this location in the top left corner. And he's starting to fortify it. The TPM, the turrets per minute, begins to raise. Valuable and Bronze League heroes and the exact opposite. Reynor is cutting it in half. The Hellbats just waddling up, making the queens look spry. Hey! Lighting up the... and refused. They just leave. Okay. Well, they know where they're not wanted. Unlike some of us. And now it's the queen's turn to wander. Oh, everybody going back. The rock's getting taken down. ByuN. So we're slicing the map directly down the middle, it appears. But so far, Reynor has taken more than his half. Neural Parasite is on the way. Honestly, EMPing the ghosts with the ghosts, obviously, may be one of the best strategies here. Did Reynor mine any of this gas? He did not. And now a musket line of snipes. The ghosts are caught in front. They are not light units, so they don't take as much damage as you'd think to banelings. It actually takes about 6 to 7 banelings. Don't know the exact math. In order to kill a ghost on its own. Well, I guess it doesn't matter how many ghosts you're nearby, but that's how much HP they have. Neural Parasite is completed, but not an Infestor in sight, and not because it's burrowed. He's just going to have those upgrades on hand. Reynor still maintains bank, but it's definitely trending towards ByuN. As ByuN went from nothing in the bank to now 4K, 2K. EMPs on the Vipers. He manages to yank in a Ghost, which is a dangerous game. But that 12 o'clock base is going to get taken out without much contest. Is it time for the Lords of the Broods? He has a greater spot, right? Roddy is just sick of it. Roddy's had enough. Okay? Alright, get him out of the game. Roddy's like, as a Protoss player, whenever a game goes past 20 minutes, I just assume one of these OP... Okay, I'm putting words in his mouth. But make sure to check out Roddy and make fun of him when his PC apparently cuts out mid-game. And we are not very close to a conclusion right now, so... Like... Settle in, get your popcorn, get your pizza rolls, you can pause the game. Remember, this is game 1, so... If you didn't already have... It's been so long since I had pizza rolls. That's probably a good thing. Almost as old as ByuN now. That's how aging works. Actually, I think I'm a little bit older. Either way. Catching up, though. Well, the Queen's gonna try to hold this base. Reynor's starting to realize maybe he should have been mining some more gas. The Monarchy getting dismantled by various Terran units. Thor's on the way. The Broodlords are spotted. A Sporchard is coming together. The Hellbats, a bit more of a bio-curious composition at this situation. As the Hellbats... Remarkably annoying to deal with. Very tanky. Remember, they only cost minerals. So... And, well, No matter how many things you try, no matter how many changes are made, where does that bring you, Zergs? Back to me, Infestor Broodlord. For many moons, for over 3/4 of Reynor's life, give or take, Infestor Broodlord has been the ultimate endgame composition. There's simply nothing else that can reliably outrange the Terrans. Now, Broodlords do not have the range they once did. Infestors do not have the infested Terrans. Though somewhat ironic that infested Terrans were, no matter what, Terrans the most. But now, Reynor has accepted that we are in the bean counter phase. The bean counter phase is where I am obligated to start clicking on gas geysers and selecting mineral patches in order to figure out how many minerals and gas physically we have left on the map. And important that Reynor has shifted into this composition before he was running completely out of money. He has the ability to reinforce. And remember, it's very incredibly important to remember, though remarkably easy to forget. They do not see how much money their opponent has in the bank. You have to kind of tally everything up throughout all this, throughout the game, try to get a gauge of whether they are desperate and trying to do an attack because they have no other options or because they think they can trade and win. And right now, both players at similar banks. Reynor has 7,500 minerals, 4,000 gas, but ByuN at 5, I probably should follow that up with the second player, but ByuN has 5,600 4K. And finally, he's got a fusion core on the way as well. Though I kind of doubt it's for battle cruisers, I wouldn't rule it entirely out. But the fact that ByuN is straight up mining from this northern base is a bit problematic for Reynor, who has lost... Have we gone 23 minutes into the game and only lost 5k gas apiece? In fact, ByuN has lost more. Alright. Well. Look at me, Mr. Pinocchio here. Assuming that the Zerg had lost more, but Reynor's actually done a great job so far at being gas efficient. The SCVs will distract some of the Hydras as the boys are... What, you run out of Marines? Well, not exactly, but... You know, I've always felt like... Woo! Oh. 1v1 me, bro. I know. So, I've always felt like it's a power move, but completely unnecessary to actually throw away your SCVs and workers like that. Well, Zergs usually just promote them into, like, spore crawlers or something, but... You could always just kill them yourself and immediately start rebuilding. There is not much practical purpose in actually sending them out. Occasionally they might help in a fight, but you're just trying to get rid of supply, right? So... Well, the Lords of the Brood to the north. This base already partially mined by Reynor, but ByuN definitely expedited the process. He managed to drag a few hundred gas out of it. But so far, and again, I was completely wrong when I assumed Reynor had lost more gas. It's 5,700 to 8,000. Reynor has been remarkably gas efficient. He's thrown away, well, not thrown away, he's utilized 755 Zerglings. And that very well could just be the beginning. Single spine crawler with its impaler tentacle. That's the real name. All right, I didn't come up with it. I don't know who did, but that's what they decided on. I know. We've got some of the hostile corporate takeover mining happening, as a hatchery is on the way, but the SCVs are trying to get as much gas as possible. But the Thor Ghost Liberator composition, it doesn't get any more powerful than this. Unless he had +3 ship weapons upgrades, in which case, yes, it would be a little bit more powerful. But the Hydras, Lings, and Banes just gutting the north, whereas ByuN making a lot more progress to the south, realizing the vast majority of the ground army. Reynor only has his spellcasters and his broodlords back here, but ByuN is content with taking out the 6 o'clock base and securing that for posterity. There's 1,500, 1,800 gas up here. 2 command centers being tucked back in from the north. More orbitals. How many orbitals still? There are 8 orbitals, but 3 of them in limbo right now. Purgatory. This gas geyser is still going. And the fact that Reynor has managed to hold on to that bottom right corner, moving up with a Vanguard sport. Oh no, 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 no! The infestors, they have full energy! He lost 3 out of 4, wandering into the liberation zone. Meanwhile, gas geysers taken out, but the map starting to... Well, ByuN. So the issue here is attacking into this army is incredibly difficult. Yes, Reynor could win the fight, but he doesn't know how much money exactly ByuN has in the bank. If he knew it was 1K, 1K, I think he'd go. But if it was even double that, like to the point where he could rebuild most of it, I don't think it's worth it. So Reynor's gonna slow play it here. And ByuN is almost out of money. He's at the 400 minerals and 20 gas a minute, which is not very much. He's consuming an unburrowed spore crawler. Oh no, they're queens! Oh, the French Revolution. An entire line of queens gunned down. But yet again, as we've established many times, queens only cost minerals. Yes, more minerals than they did before, 175. ByuN bringing the gas count a little closer. Reynor needs to be taking these gas geysers the moment he gets them. Get over here! Yanks in a Thor, pins it against the corner, doesn't even bother trying to fight. There's 150 Zerglings trying to dance around. So from Reynor's perspective, oh, the ghosts are right there. He tries for the fungal. He misses the mark, loses a couple broods. Meanwhile, ByuN still in a dicey position. He has the army. Like, he has 10 ghosts, 10 liberate. This is 11 Thors, 12 Hellbats, 10 Liberators, 5 tanks. A Marauder somehow survived, and 10 ghosts. Like, 22 SCVs. More snipes, but he catches a few ghosts, chaining it together. The Brood Lords, ByuN moving forward. The main ground army is waiting. Oh, the snipes wipe out some more broods. As Reynor, he decides to refill with Zerglings. I think he's gonna try to break this. ByuN is... He has a few siege tanks, and of course the Liberators are very helpful. Reynor has mined out the majority of this base. Neural Parasite is very much available. I don't think we've seen any usage yet. Oh, no, 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 the Viper! Full energy, but here come the Lings. The Hellbats underneath make things so difficult. Like, they've got, like, flamethrowers strapped to the legs of those Thors. I mean, that's effectively what it is. Reynor, okay, well, he took that. Now you got a mine from the gas guy. That is an important point. All right, I'm not going to hold your hand here. Huh. Well, let's count the beans. He spotted the burrowed infestors. 5 more infestors on the way. There's 177 Zerglings on the field. Wow. Almost 1/5 of the Zerglings to ever live in this game are currently alive. This is optimistic. Oh, that's a lot of dead drones. Is that important? Not really. Reynor gonna take out what he can. He's mining the gas. Yeah, Reynor about to be at less drones than he started with. 11 drones to 22 SCVs. But he has plenty of money to rebuild. He doesn't even bother rebuilding drone. Wow, we are mined out. It's just the gas geysers. Does Reynor have... 0? He has 0 mineral income. There's no more mineral patches on this side of the map. ByuN, this base, 408. Well, I hope he got those pizza rolls. I don't... $6K in the bank. The current standing army is over 9,000 minerals. He will never be able to rebuild. He's building 4 more broodlords. 190 army supply. 95% of all of it. He could even go over if he was willing to spend a few more minerals on a extractor tricking with his few drones or something, but... Or, I guess, spore crawler tricking. So the game will slow down. Hasn't been a particularly quick one, but... How many? 120, 200. There's about 1,000 minerals left here. 1,500 gas. There is another 2,000. So he's got about 3,500 gas left. And about 1,200 minerals. Mules may be great. Scans incredible. But the one thing mules can't do is pull minerals out of thin air. Okay? You can't just pretend that you have minerals that you don't. Alright, that's what the stock market is for. 2 more gas geysers. The last 2 gas geysers on the way. Reynor with 650 gas. Another, like, 3,000 over here. We're going to see even more infestors. Assuming he doesn't... Okay, I just want to say right now, if either of them proposes a draw, I may just rage quit this cast. Okay? I want to see a stalemate timer before you even think about it. In order to win a game of StarCraft 2, you must destroy all of your opponent's buildings. A draw happens, the automatic timer, when neither player... When no one has mined and no buildings, not units, buildings have been destroyed for like 3 minutes. And then there's like a 3-minute timer. It's quite comprehensive. Now, another note. Terran buildings can fly, as we all know. So, something to keep under consideration. As the spore crawlers... How many overseers are there? 7 of them on the field. 186 zerglings fungal. Infestor. We got some EMPs. The Thors getting a lot of damage done. Wandering in. The Liberators don't quite... I feel like if the Liberators had +3 ship weapons, would they one-shot infestors? Maybe. EMP hits a lot of the bulbous infestors. Queen! Actually, no. Liberator taken down. The spore crawlers are the anti-air to take down. Because they're not vulnerable to the Liberators. Which is incredible that we're seeing a spore crawler counter siege against the Liberators' Venn diagram of freedom. 4 spore, and 34 minutes ago we started this game. And at some point, Kerrigan willing will end it. But, more ghosts on the way. ByuN, 11 ghosts, still 10 Thors. The spore. How much APM do you need to reposition spores? 10 per second, give or take. The army supplies are just massive. The minerals. This is going to be a pure... Sometimes we see these like late game scenarios where players... There's like a few minerals here and there. No. I think we're going to dry it all. Well, ByuN might be proving me wrong. There's 600 minerals left. The army supply is just huge. Siege tank still hitting. This is a chess match. Now here comes ByuN. Lines up a volley of snipes. Will knock out a couple broods, but the fungals interrupt the targeting. Here come the zerglings. Blinding cloud, perfect positioning. Turns the Thors against him. The infestors will stay intact throughout the fight. The broodlords overhead. Some of the ghosts decide they don't want to have any part of this. Coming in from the left side. But the Thors are held down. Reynor turns them against their own. And I think we call that... Oh, but the 4 reserve ghosts are actually able to snipe off 3 or 4 broodlords. What's the math on this one? About even, but Reynor actually destroyed more gas, slightly less minerals. He got 10 ghosts, he got 8 Thors. ByuN... Sick. Okay, well... But you can't do anything with just gas. Reynor needs to do some math now. Okay, I know, but... Wait, can he even build Infestor? Infestor's at 5150. He's down to 6... Oh, no. He has 4,000 gas and he's not going to be able to spend it. The last minerals will be mined. There will be nothing left for posterity. It's all on the field. Neither player... This is the real poker game, not a chess match. In chess, you know how many pieces your opponent has. This is a poker game because right now, neither player knows exactly how much is left. If either commits to an all-out fight and the other is able to rebuild 50 Zerglings or 50 Marines... Right, this is one of those scenarios where the final battle might not be fought with Infestors and Broods or Thors and Ghosts, but Marines and Zerglings. Now, we know that's not the case. Reynor spends his absolute last minerals. He's actually unable to use this gas. That is crazy. Rare, so rare. It's usually the gas that runs out, and then you just throw away your minerals. But Reynor, there's no more minerals. Even if he retook this base, there's nothing to retake. That's it. The map is empty. And now, the Bone Trench may claim everyone left. Okay, the board is set. ByuN is making 3 more ghosts. Oh no. Oh no. No. Reynor, hide those corruptors. Hide those corruptors. If those 2 corruptors die, ByuN cannot lose the game. I don't know if Reynor's thinking about that right now. But if there is no more anti-air, there's nothing to stop the buildings from flying to the corner of the map. Right now, and ByuN is just going to constantly scan. Reynor. For Reynor, the map is dark and full of Terrans. He's got 7 overs. Okay, well, microing some changelings. Are these... There's 34 gas. I don't know if I've ever seen a map actually... Well, he's still mining gas. But why, though? You're gonna have a trade agreement with ByuN for next game or something? Like, there's literally no point in... Well, I guess you could deny ByuN. Little does he know ByuN is also dead broke. Oh my. Oh, here we are. I keep opening up the production tab. There will be nothing else in production for the rest of this game. That's it. It's over. The production tab is literally useless. I guess he could make a Baneling. There are still 8 orbital commands. It only takes 5 orbitals to always have 1 more skin. So, important point, you can't even repair. Repairing costs 1/4 of the cost of a unit to go from like 1 to full HP. So, even if he has gas, if he doesn't have minerals, no repair. You know what I'm surprised at? They haven't said anything yet. This is the most clear potential draw scenario that isn't actually a draw that I've seen in quite a while. ByuN has had some questionable drawferings. Oh my, another Ventria scan. Well, huh. There it is. No. Reynor declines. Dark would have taken it. Dark would have taken it. But Reynor says no. Reynor can win, but I don't know. Like, that's the easy way out, but we played 40 minutes. The fact that ByuN is willing to potentially draw now. Okay, he's going. The Zerglings. He can keep scanning. Like, he could just scan all the hatcheries and see if any eggs are building. This is when the 25 Ultras come in, which is what Reynor's trying to play for, I guess, right now. How many broods left? Just 3. Oh, no. I think Reynor may regret. He neural parasites the Liberator. He sieges up to help counter the Ghost. A fungal. Thor knocking out another Liberator. He brings it into the fray, will take it down himself. A neural parasite frees the Liberator. Another Infestor goes down. It looks like the EMPs hit mostly across the board. He has a couple more fungals. But Raider supply! Oh no! And now off of the draw, Reynor. Now give him, hey, draw? Oh no. He died upon that hill. ByuN had the high ground. Honestly, and it wasn't like he can't repair the orbital. He doesn't have the maintenance fee. ByuN is trying to hit before the Infestor energy comes back, and that is Reynor's best hope. The SCVs leading the charge. I mean, what else are they gonna do? What a technical game. The Infestors. I don't know if this army could even A-move into it, to be honest. Reynor may have made a mistake. I don't blame him for not wanting it. But that may have been the best scenario. The Broodlings popping out. The Broodlings from the Brood Lords. The armies are so small. 4 siege tanks, 2 Thors, 9 go. Like, 1 good neural parasite is still. That's the only queen. There can only be 1. Brenda, this is not. Only 1. What? Go fight. I think Reynor realizes that he may have overplayed his hand. Oh, no. Wow. No. He's not gonna take that. You can't do that. I go buy coffee. You know what? I bet he will. Scan energy charge. Wait. ByuN, you have to know. Like, come on. He doesn't come back and offer a draw like this. He scans on top of his own army whenever he's walking. Reynor may very well. He's lying. He's got APM. All right. Wait. We can see it. This is like Bronze League Heroes whenever someone's like, well, I'm just going to go AFK, and then... Are you? Oh, Reynor. He should have taken it. Now, this is... Most official tournaments would maybe have something to... But if both players agree... Though... Like, there's technically nothing stopping the players from just sitting there and waiting out the draw timer. Though, it's a bit unsportsmanlike in your average scenario. And I think most tournaments would sit and be like, hey, we're not here to make friends. Okay. Otherwise, we wouldn't be playing this game, let's be honest here. But that reminds me of one of my first LAN tournaments. I went to... Back in like 2010, Wings of Liberty. An actual LAN tournament at a LAN center around University of Michigan. I was a diamond player, Zerg. And my opponent was a silver Terran. Yes, everybody was into SC2 at the day. So, not to stereotype, but he had like a toit shirt, backwards baseball cap. He was blasting dubstep in his headphones. So, in the game, I played like what was a normal macro build in Wings of Liberty. And he didn't wall off. So a bunch of Zerglings got in his base at like 7 minutes. It took a while back in the day. And then he floated his buildings to the corner. And he kept trying to land them around the side. And I'm like, okay, because this is a tournament. And then game 2 rolls around. I won, obviously. So I just did like a 6 pool, and the Zerglings get in, and he floats his buildings to the corners again. And then, after this is round 1 of like a double elimination tournament, where neither of us is gonna win. There's actually good players there, but... So you're there for the whole day, right? I do it again. He floats to the corner. I eventually get like mutas and kill it because obviously. And then he just packs up and leaves. He just doesn't say a word to anyone. There's like an entrance fee, like $30 goes to the prize pool, pays for you playing in the LAN tournament. Packs up, leaves. So that was my first experience in person with the Terran mentality. But what I'm trying to say here is whatever I can to fill time, as Reynor really. Meanwhile, ByuN is putting together a Barracks Lord cover. Okay, wait. He's trying to mass. So units will not hit them before threats, but it might eat a shot or two or make it harder to micro. This is ByuN's game to lose. Go middle 1v1. Reynor, it's too late for... No. This entire game has been 1v1. What are we gonna send, like, our champion? Send, like, a... I don't know. Like, what's even a fair fight here? Like, Hydra versus a... 6 SCVs? Creep. I have no idea. Now at this point, we're barely speaking it. You have Ghost. I feel like deja vu. We just... okay. I believe it was a tap-out shirt, by the way. Just in case you want to set the scene. On that tournament I was talking about. Tap out, like tight, like black shirt, white lettering. Baseball cap, probably had some sports ball team on it, I don't know. Just really, just setting it. Did he have sunglasses? I can't confirm that. The LAN center was dark, so. Probably. I don't think so. I wouldn't go that far. That's... Here we go! So ByuN actually gives him the fight. Takes a siege tank. Here come the Fungals, the final battle. Infestors, Neural Parasite, Brood Lords. There's a Viking. Oh wait, but there are Corruptors. Wow, this is actually really close. The fact that... Well, no, wait. Okay. Wow. Brood Lords, he saves the Thor. He's microing it. There's still the 2 Corruptors that could save the game. There's a Cloak Ghost. But the Brood Lords are chasing on the Siege Liberator. The Brood Lords die. And somehow this actually became an epic, dramatic conclusion. But I think ByuN did it with 1 Ghost, 1 Thor, 1 Siege Tank, and 0 fucks. He tried to wall him off with mules. He's hunting him to the ends of the... Really? Oh, well, technically... Finish him! GG! I can't believe that had a satisfying conclusion. I was fully expecting to get the StarCraft equivalent of blue balled there. But, wow. Reynor, yeah, credit to ByuN. And then uncredit to ByuN. Because, one... Well, actually, no. We gotta look at 1,069 Zerglings, 48 Ghosts, 38. How many resources in total? How many resources were on the map? About 130,000, apparently. Reynor finishes the game with 5,285 gas in the bank. ByuN with 928. All right. Game 1 goes to ByuN. I will give, like, he actually gave Reynor a real fight. He could have, and that's the spirit of the big brain bouts. Shout out to Team Basilisk, by the way, for putting this on every Friday night. $500 in prizes every Friday. And instead of letting Clem win every weekly tournament, we actually have, like, curated players. Though Clem is occasionally... You know, I don't think they invite Clem because he pays and everything else. You know, I'm here to start a tiny bit of beef. But... Game... Hopefully Reynor got his coffee to wake up from that one. But game 1 goes to ByuN. And here we are. Whispers of Gold for game number 2. And before I forget, and Jimmy, before you forget, make sure to check out Team Basilisk YouTube. It's in the description, and I recommend not just, you know, watching the games, but they're also doing a series with Reynor. Need to finish this. Maybe, you know, need to take a bit of a break after that much coffee, but Reynor and Cyril playing Portal 2. Okay, for those of you who know Portal 2, you know that's not the easiest game to pick up, especially if you're not used to games like that. And I always love when people are shocked and chagrined that people who are very good at one thing are not necessarily good at other things. Let's put it this way. Neither of them has played Portal before. And especially Reynor, maybe a little bit too quick for his own good. A little bit much on the actions, a little bit less on the reading. A little bit quick to make decisions that he didn't consider for long enough. So, if, like, besides the actual good games for the fans, make sure to check out the Cyril Reynor Portal series on Team Basilisk YouTube channel. And again, in the description, Jimmy, maybe just link to it. Or just the videos page. It's not hard. I know people don't go to channel pages. That's why we've got to search engine optimize everything with clickbait and all that for the half-second, like, TikTok attention spans. Even the 38-year-olds that are pretending like they don't have them, but have been exposed to them over the course of the last decade or two with literal psychologists curating everything so perfectly so that way your monkey brain decides to click on things. But I digress. And I ask you to like and subscribe. As the first Reaper comes across the map, and maybe things will settle down in what has already been an entire series in a single game. I can't get over how it actually... Shout out to ByuN and Reynor. Despite the antics bringing us to a meaningful conclusion. Third command center on the way. We gotta reset. Remember how this game is usually played. Not with a bunch of set pieces and drama. Well, drama. Sir, this is a message from the Hatchery Owners Association. Okay, my name is Brenda. My friend Susan... Don't include me in this, Brenda. My friend Susan would like to ask you for your number, okay? So you can fuck off. That doesn't even make sense. Like, how does that even work? You guys have phones? I don't... Oh. Reaper's taken down by the Zerglings. Actually pinned up against the corner trying to get one of those creep tumors. So seductive yet dangerous. All right. Much like the queens themselves. Viking on the way. As Reynor. Third command, third hatchery laid down, 6 o'clock position. Will this be a Liberator follow-up for ByuN? Or is he going to try the obligatory Hellbat timing? Not the late game Hellbat edition, but the... Because a lot of the time when you don't see a tech lab on that... starport means we're heading towards something Hellbat related. And it is certainly not a high percentage play. And for now, if only you could get the Thor they're apparently building on this map. Viking gonna hunt down the Overlord. Overlord. I mean, not much to be done about it. Double NG Bay for ByuN. Gonna be another Baneling nest into, I assume, double Evo for Reynor. I doubt this map will be quite as straight to endgame oriented. There's even less ability to defend past your first 4 bases than there was on the previous one. Honestly, I was very surprised to see the straight to late game. Overlord! Oh no! Another one taken down. More like an own Overlord. Barracks all coming together. 1-1 and Stim in production. And for now, we are headed to the full-on macro game. Liberator, Spore, and Queen scrambling into position. ByuN moves the Liberator out of the way. Spore gets a couple hits. Queen with the knitting needles. A whole Queen's move coming together down the center. Creep spread looking very good. And I take it all back yet again. We're going to be building up. The double medevacs are about to complete, and with it, an opportunity to put some pressure on. But Reynor already at 68 drones and counting. 2 more hatcheries on the way, including a macro hatch in the main. Hasn't decided on any sort of lair tech, including potentially up to infestation pit for Hive. But hasn't started Baneling... started Baneling speed, but it won't be done for quite a while yet. The first medevacs and Marines will be able to come across the map with their upgrades before Baneling speed is completed. So there's a very dangerous opportunity for the Terran to get some damage done. One. Now completed, and this, here come the Hellbats! The Marines gun down 1 Queen, make that 2. But as long as they absorb for the drones, Transfuse saves another. Double drop heads into the main base. Pretty much undefended. A few Zerglings popping out, but going to have to deal with these Marines in a brute force fashion. They jam themselves into the corner. He's got the upgrade advantage. Single Baneling rolling in. Might be able to break the critical mass of Marines and does so. Meanwhile, more Marines down the center. Mines joining of them. Not sure where any medevacs are. The Widow Mine's looking on. Too good to kill buildings like creep tumors, which kind of weird they're considered a building, but I digress. Big Gabe on the high ground here. The hero Marine might actually rack up a kill or 2 on the Banelings as they crash into it. That's what I meant, totally. Hydralisk Den now on the way. Reynor kind of scrambling to put together a defense and didn't have any other tech on the way. Meanwhile, the Marine's going to try to jump into the main again. ByuN rotating around towards the 4th base. And we'll find yet another opportunity to get damage done. He's got 2-2 on the way. And quite a good job so far. The Widow Mines are not dealt with. But the Marines, on the other hand, are. And oh no, the wrong path! Banelings incidentally killing the Widow Mines as well. More in the main. The Spore perimeter will help almost take out one of the medevacs. There's enough Zerglings to defend against this. And Reynor, where's the infestation pit? Hydralisk on the way. Banelings, oh no! He leans into it. The Marines go flying. So far, ByuN unable to make meaningful progress against a Reynor who he doesn't even need this base down the center. He'd certainly like it, but he has another alternative 4th base past that 6 o'clock position. So at 85 drones with, well, he's going for a +1 ranged attack alongside +2 Carapace. ByuN's about to hit +2. He just got Drilling Claws, which, more Banelings crashing in. And ByuN doesn't really have the critical mass of Marines and Mines. No Marauders in order to break through. The creep is over halfway across the map. Reynor has been quite diligent on dealing with it. Oh! Oh, not so diligent on dealing with the mines, though. That's a big one. 20 kills. The money shot from the mine there. And that single shot may have just brought ByuN back into it, as the momentum was slipping away from him. But now, he has his 4th base up. The army supply is dead even. And Reynor's still a long way off getting that hive tech. Infestation bit not even completed. Doom drop. ByuN picks up and heads to the main. 4 medevacs full of Marines are unloading. And here we are. Are there any Banelings? The Marines are gunning down the Zerglings by the dozen. The Banelings are in position. Not all the Marines are able to scramble into the medevacs in time. It's ByuN's Dunkirk here is not looking great. Another massive Widow Mine hit Reynor. A 3-course buffet of Widow Mine hits across the board. He's already lost 169 Zerglings, though ByuN impressively has lost 73 Marines, so I say that as that's a lot, not a little, certainly. Hive on the way. Lurker Den is the choice from Reynor. Probably a smart one in this scenario. It looks unlikely, like ByuN unlikely to be able to get Liberators or Ghosts. He's committed to the M&M, and so far, he's made a lot of progress with it, but the key part is how Reynor's economy has been relatively untouched. He's still at 90 drones. The Widow Mines, most of them being triggered. He drags out a couple more. These decently mitigated. Morlings and Banes rolling down. Dozens of them on the field. More Widow Mine hits. Another big connection. More Marines coming in from the odd angle. Finding the wrong path there. And the Zerglings will find them in turn. But 3-3 on the way. Ghost Academy in production before the hive is even completed. So there will not be Lurker range upgrades before ByuN has an answer. But it really depends on how strong the questions that Reynor is asking are. Yeah, that sounds profound. And, one Widow Mine. Again, he just keeps leaving so many behind. But ByuN still with 193 supply, going to be hitting the base over to the left flank. Mines scattered throughout. Just because they're on creep doesn't mean he necessarily knows what they are. Just one Overseer with this. Going to be very important for cleaning it up with the drilling claws done. Widow Mine dragged into the Terran army. Doesn't discriminate against anything but other Widow Mines. Will do damage to everything in turn. A single Liberator. That one Marauder with so much armor. The Zerglings unable to take it down. The Lurkers eviscerating the front line of the Marines. Lurker range is about to complete, but Reynor finally cleans this up. But the mines will remain. Double drop, triple drop in the main base. The Lurkers will reposition slightly. The Queen's taking down the medevacs. Stims further into the main as he has no choice. The final medevac. Widow Mine! Another huge connection. But Reynor, it's not about how many lings you lose, it's how many you can replace them with. He's lost 300, and he still has 100 on the field, and 24 more in production. Which means Adrenal Glands is kind of an important upgrade not to forget. Reynor. +2 melee attack about to complete. A couple dozen more Banelings. Widow Mine. Actually reacted perfectly on that one. Another mine is blocking the base. Infuriating. And ByuN has taken the north side as well. But Reynor's momentum continues. He's going to come back to deal with this one mine. It blasted the drone, and he figured it out there. But the breadcrumbs, the explosive breadcrumbs, leading him back in. Reynor style banking money yet again. Oh, not again. Oh, another juicy hit. And Reynor. Oh, and again, the war of attrition. Banelings crash through. Fusion core is on the way. More Banelings. And he's just rolling into the army. The Ghost SCVs overrun. 60 more Zerglings in production behind, but the full Zerg swarm is leaning on ByuN, and ByuN will bend, but he has yet to break. Another round. Let's see if he realizes he didn't get Adrenal Glands. 11 more Lurkers on the way. The Lurker's not even part of the fight so far, just on defense. The Ghost count up to 11. And the Lurker count will be at 15. So both sides clearly teching up. But quite a brawl throughout the mid-game. But the compositions have continued to develop. There's Adrenal Glands. ByuN, dangerously close to stabilizing with his late-game army composition. Oh, not again! Another one! That one wasn't quite as bad. The lurkers on the right, the lurkers on the left, and the Terran down the center. The ByuN sandwich looking extra delectable right now for the Zergs, who are reaching out for a cheeky taste. But the Ghost will poke right back. Splits off, deals with the mines, sacrifices the lings one at a time. There's one more mine back there. Oh, no! Oh, how big? 24 kills! The lurkers cross-hatching through the planetary to the north side, as ByuN still very near to 200 supply. Adrenal Glands only halfway done. Adaptive Talon's actually a little bit late on the draw, meaning the lurkers are a little bit harder to reposition. But ByuN clearing up the lurkers to the north side, the Zerglings regathering down the center, and Reynor has broken the front. He's broken the sides, but he has not broken ByuN. As he holds onto that northern base. He still has 4 bases, and he still has an opportunity to fight back. But he needs to do it soon, as Reynor's economy is booming right now. And there's almost no chance he's going to be able to fight a long-term battle. The planetary fortress surrounded and crushed by the Hydrolings and Banes. And all that right before Adrenal Glands finishes. +3 ranged attack going to be joining. +3 Carapace momentarily for Reynor, but here comes ByuN with the biggest army he'll likely have for quite a while. He's got 133 army supply, and Reynor only has 106 to match it. He's got 86 drones, so he literally cannot put enough on the field. The lurkers getting in behind everything. Lurkers at the third, lurkers to the north. Hydras and Lings cutting down more SCVs. ByuN gonna come back to try to clean this up, but it's looking like an absolutely hot mess right now. More snipes. Knocks out yet another Overseer. All right, he didn't go to 16 seconds of Overseer school in order to be called an Overlord. Am I right? Oh, not now. Well. Very dead lurker knocked out. ByuN 186 supplies still. But Reynor is mining from his entire half the map. The income. Ooh. Just a downward trend. Over 2,000 more resources per minute for Reynor. He's got his upgrades. He's got the fully upgraded lurkers. Which, yeah, I know, same thing, but he actually slows it down for a beat in order to make sure he can put it all together, consolidate his forces, and hold against the inevitable final wave of ByuN. The sheer amount of Zerglings. ByuN is going to have to win most of the battles for the rest of the war here in order to keep going. Hydra Lunge is on the way. Quite an afterthought for Reynor. I think he was just clicking through like, wait a second, did I forget anything? But here come a huge amount of Banelings. That's so many Banelings trying to retreat up the ramp. Splits. The Zerglings coming in from the back, try to hold it down. No Zerglings with this army, but there they are, holding down the army as the Banelings roll in. The battle line of Terran is enough. He holds. But at what cost? The orbital command is taken down. The army is thinned out. Reynor drops to 150 supply, and I think he's out of larva, indeed. He doesn't have the larva to rebuild too quickly. And ByuN actually manages to take the near impossible fight despite the Zergling counterattack. The anvil was not quite in time with the hammer. The Banelings had thinned out dramatically by the time the Zerglings actually came in. And ByuN stood his ground and drove the Zerg back. Still 106 to 97 army supply. The Ghost lining up another volley of snipes, taking out Banelings before they can be completed. More Widow Mines hitting across the board. Some of them hitting the Terrans as well. Hydra Lunge is done. And if he wants to work his way forward, but The momentum still clearly in Reynor's favor, despite the army supply being so close. It's getting concerning. That's ByuN's main orbital command. All right, that one at the low ground base. He lifted his main, so lurkers could be a decisive choice. I keep thinking Reynor's just going to run him over, but ByuN refuses to die. The medevacs are nearly out of energy. Another wave. Backs off when he sees the mines, but the reinforcements being cut off. Another wave of Widow mines. Might be enough to stop this for now. And another set of mines at the front. Oh my. But the lurker line with much more stalwart defense. And he just dives on top with almost nothing left. Parasitic bomb, banelings, lurkers, oh my. And we're all tied up at 1-1. Well, Reynor. It wasn't easy, but he claws one back. ByuN still looking incredibly dangerous, but not unbeatable. And honestly, game one wasn't exactly unbeatable either, let's be honest here. But in fact, ByuN offered a non-win. But now we're all tied up, drawn even if you would. And we're going in to Moonwater. And that's another one of our community maps with the gold base that is almost a literal island. You got some mineral walls on either side. And of course the Moonwater surrounding it. No naval units here. I feel like Zerg would have a distinct advantage there, but are there any other features? Any rich Vespine geysers? Any healing shrines? I don't believe so. Just a close air distance sort of map. If we were gonna see Mutas, now would be the time. All right. If you were gonna take us down that beautiful road, Reynor. ByuN in the top right. Kind of surprised he didn't break out like either a proxy Rex or a command center first or something along those lines. But I guess it would be on brand for these two to just do hardcore macro builds every single game. Would definitely not be out of the question. Both of them, I think, more confident in their macro game. Even though ByuN has been known to do those cheeses in the past, he just wants to build 200 supply of Marines and medevacs, and maybe some other M units, whether it's mines or marauders or Magos or tanks. Either way, you know what he wants. Reynor, on the other hand, wants to avoid spellcasters like the Plague, and probably because they don't actually have Plague. So, and Zergs have been upset ever since. Bring back Defilers 2025. I think that ship has sailed here on Moonwater. The mineral wall. So there's a single mineral that I think is like 10 or 20 or something. You can access the gold base down the center. And that is a contested base. There's an odd number of bases on this map, and the gold base is the decider. It has 2 Vespine geysers as well, so could be relevant as time goes on. I'm just hoping for mutas. Alright. Let's see. 10. 2 trips. Technically 1 for a mule, but we need to rustle that up. Usually they don't need rustling. Queen, politely yet firmly, asks the Reaper to leave. It's gonna be 3 command center. Of course. 3 hatcheries for Reynor, who's just now getting gas, and Ice Fisher build over here. 3 hatches before gas. And once again, we've got a macro gap. Roach one's on the way. And a defensive roach one. We haven't seen... I'm surprised we haven't seen it at all. Like, not even an attempt. Ooh, double Brenda bounce. But the roach is a much more stable mid-game. I think most Zergs, and by most Zergs I mean Cyril, favoring the roachling Bane composition into a more dramatic late game, like either Ultras or Hydroling Bane. But the roaches are kind of a stopgap, sometimes literally, that Lings and Banes can't always do. We saw last game, part of the reason Reynor wasn't able to actually finish it was he didn't have the larva. Larva management may not be flashy. It may not sound like something you aspire to, but good larva management is the difference between a good and a great Zerg. Okay, so, and roaches are significantly more larva efficient, at least in the early game. How many? We got 6 sloaches out there now, which is just enough to be of concern, but not enough to do critical damage. Now, ByuN doesn't know that. That's the key part here. He doesn't actually know how many roaches are behind this. He has his suspicions, I'm sure. Oh, did ByuN go for... Yeah, he went for 3 Rex Marine with double engineering bay. Because of course he did. But that actually means he's going to have enough Marines to deal with this easily. Doesn't even build a bunker, he's that confident. He's calling the bluff here. And the roaches will scuttle back to the creep. +1 Carapace is on the way. Lair, gonna be completed quite quickly. We'll see if Reynor stops around 66 drones. That's how you know. That's the timing. Alright, Hellions will light up a couple drones. Knocks out one. Incinerates another. And the Queens will take care of it. But 66 drones is full 3 base saturation. Sure, you might have a 4th base for larva, but that'll indicate whether he wants to go for a roach timing or if he's just progressing further past it. Alright. Infestation pit already on the way. A rush to hive. I guess with Cloudy with a chance of swarm hosts. We saw Scarlet on this very map in this very matchup make use of swarm hosts against Special in this same tournament. In this very tournament. The big brain Bouts. But I don't know if they were the best strategy, especially against a bio army where Marines can just gun down the Locust before they get even close. Almost certainly heading to hive as quickly as possible. ByuN. Those Marines looking for the creep. Well, already took out some of the tumors, but... Speed for Zerglings and Roaches completing simultaneously. Those are destructible rocks down the center here. Well, ice, technically. Nice to meet you. 7-minute hive begun. Not the quickest, but pretty damn close. Baneling speed on the way. And again, we're dragged into the macro game. Okay, all right. ByuN, shameless as ever, takes the gold base on location. Because of course he does. Now, no Overlords in position to scout it either. These siege tanks moving up. He's going to cover it with some aggression. As you know, the best defense is a good offense. And without the hive done, no Vipers. Reynor has a huge supply lead, but his composition is mediocre at best. ByuN at 69 SCVs. Reynor at 84 drones, though losing a couple now. A nice lead for Reynor overall, but if he can't hold on to this base, he's going to be very limited in mining locations. Here come the roaches and lings from the north. A 360-degree surround out of Reynor, but a little disjointed means a lot of the units will be taken down relatively cheaply. We get rid of the siege tanks, though. That was the major threat. Reynor killed 2 tanks and 11 marines. ByuN got 60 Zerglings, 3 roaches, a whole smattering of other things, and a siege tank of his own. And most importantly, he covered for that northern gold base to complete. And that's actually such a huge deal right now. Where Reynor's thinking about hitting ByuN's 4th, it's going to be his 5th. Wow, that's not even a command center. I thought there was a command center on the minimap. No, it's just a bunch more marines and mines. That's how big the bio ball is. The mines out in front of everything. Drilling claws on the way. +2 infantry, weapons, and armor about to complete as ByuN has a double drop down to the south side. Bottom left corner, Reynor. His hatchery's completed, but not mining from it yet. Sending a few drones down at a very inopportune time. Going to be losing them. Actually, a bit supply blocked at 196, but ByuN helping him out with that. Gunning down the drones and a whole bunch more Zerglings. And the Banelings will show up, but Reynor already losing a huge chunk of his economy and his army. Win for ByuN, and every single time there's a trade that's even close to even, it's a win for ByuN because of the gold base. Reynor could crush it if he just knew it existed. But ByuN has clearly played this map before, or he just saw a gold base and said yes, which is how I assume most Terrans, especially ones that have played since 2010, react when they see it. Even though mules no longer mine extra minerals from it, it's still a juicy acquisition where you can minimize your worker count and maximize the army. Though both of them at exactly 75 workers and maxed out on army as well. Adrenal glands about to complete. Vipers full energy. No ghost to match them. Parasitic bomb on 2 of the medevacs. Will be mostly quarantined. Another army. Banelings rolling in. Wow. Sprints a marauder forward as tribute. And actually manages to mitigate the Banelings to an extent that allows him to take down the hatchery. No cancel from Reynor. Another wave of mines down the center, and the Banelings caught in a concave of disaster. And the gold base continues to mine. ByuN with that extra boost of income that will allow him to put so many Marines and Marauders on the field. Another wave of Lings and Banes coming through. ByuN hits the bottom left corner yet again. Reynor moving in. Before he can get close enough to the hatch. The medevacs are nearly out of energy. The Marines and Marauders in autumn colors. And Parasitic Bomb on 2... Oh, takes one out of the sky. And oh no, he's gone too far. He dug too deep and he dug too greedily. And he cannot get out of this. A single medevac stuck in the corner. And finally, Reynor is able to clear... Oh, no. Not again. Oh, well. Finally, Reynor is able to mostly clear up this drop. The Whittle Mine's down the center. The Queen's getting involved now. Enough Lings and Banes to deal with the drop left behind. Fusion Core is on the way. The ice has yet to be melted. Lurker dead in production. 3 more command centers for ByuN. Another back and forth brawl. But to be honest, mostly forth towards Reynor's base. 3-3 is on the way for ByuN. Gonna hit right down the center again, assassinating the Queens. Only 1 remains. Whittle Mines, mostly mitigated. Vipers have regained some energy. Kiting back. The Marauders. Does he have concussive shells? Yes, but there's just so many Lings and Banes, he can't be hitting them all. 4 Liberators at a time as the pressure continues to mount on Reynor, who's managed to hold so far. And in fact has a little more money in the bank. How many ghosts? 0, which is not very many. Or they got very good cloaking devices. Parasitic Bomb and the Marines will die in darkness. Ravager Lingbane. Oh, volley firing through, but he actually missed the mark and has to dodge his own corrosive biles. The Marauders chunking through the hatchery. Not quite enough to take it out. Another wave of Lings and Banes. The Marauders chunked up. Still another clutch of bile behind the Widow Mines, trying to find the connections. Corrosive biles a little off the mark yet again, and the Liberator will continue to rack up the kills. Gold base continues to mine. Just goes forward with the Liberators. Another wave of Widow Mines brawling it out on the field yet again. The Marauders forced to kite back even further. In fact, the army is mostly Marauders at this point, especially in terms of supply. Throws out... Was that an EMP? Sure. Why not? We'll make the Lings and Banes feel uncomfortable. Be like, now pretend you were Protoss. And nevertheless, the gold base continues to mine. In fact, it's starting to mine out. It does so more quickly because, of course, well, it has the same amount of minerals as normal patches. They just mine faster. Drag back 7 at a time instead of 5. Baneling mines on the field. Finally getting rid of the ice wall. 4 Banelings. Though, not enough to kill the ghosts. I mean, you're not going to put... Oh my god. It's building 3 orbitals in the main. We're going to play footsies again. Well, all the footsies for the spores and the rest... Oh, double Nidus! I failed to register it, and we'll see if ByuN does. ByuN was maxed out, so he doesn't have that much in production. He might not have the units to deal with the Nidus. But that possibility is proven incorrect. Yeah, there's plenty back at home. Oh, he spotted. He knew the planetary. He spotted it, I think, with the Overseer he sent for the Nidus. Nuclear missile is in production. Going to crush the planetary, but he's going to see those mined out minerals. 13 SCVs go down with it, but it was certainly worth it. Another Nidus. Gotta try to use it as bait here. The Baneling Mines. Big hit, center mass. And ByuN actually loses a big chunk of supply. The best Bane hit I've seen in quite a while. Not enough to really eat into the critical mass of ByuN, but certainly going to help. Let's take a look at the battle report. He got about 11 Marines, but he made the rest of those units feel very uncomfortable. ByuN now has 6 orbital commands. The mineral wall. The units streaming through one by one. Not exactly the ideal methodology. Meanwhile, a Nidus Worm in the bottom right corner. Zergling there. Burrow clearly done. Adrenal glands as well. 3/3 upgrades for most of the relevant units, including +3 plating for ByuN's mech, as things start to slow down yet again. Reynor trying to grab that gold base. Widow Mine dragged into a single Zergling. Corrosive Biles knocking down some of the Liberators. There's no other anti-air here besides Parasitic Bomb. Another Nidus at the back of the natural. Some Hydras joining the fray. Another Nidus Worm is taken out. 13 more SCVs taken down. And Reynor really needs to mine through some of this mineral wall so he doesn't have to keep squeezing in. Those plus-size Ravagers having a tough time with the mineral walls. Gross Bout working on the Widow Mines, but the Bio Army to the north will reclaim the High Noon base. And Reynor only gets a few dregs of minerals from it. In fact, a few drones... Well, that's unfortunate. Nidus is all over the place. Lurkers. ByuN starting to bank money as well. Reynor not willing to give this location up. Get over here! The EMPs come through, but not before he's able to take down the medevacs with the Hydras. The Marauders as well, pinned into a corner and torn up. Go tell your friends what happened here. ByuN bottled up for now. As Reynor establishes himself on the map, and here we are again. going to the supreme late game. We're still far from the bean counter phase. But it's on the horizon. And we're hurtling towards it. Trying to put out so many turrets. Yep, high-sec auto-trekking. No building armor from ByuN, which is actually kind of an odd oversight. Building armor quite helpful, especially against the mass Zergling Hydra composition. Is he? He's going to try to expand to the frontier. Optimistic, but, you know, if he can mine any of it. It's a bit of a placeholder drone, but... Another Bioforce. Looking to move by... What am I watching? Oh my. Smorgasbord of units. Drop in an awkward position. EMPs the Overseers. Because why not? Hydra Lunge on the way. Reynor managed to reestablish to the north. Those are changelings on the minimap. There's still a nuclear missile in the silo. The Academy. Alright, doubles. This is awkward. Zergling too cute to land on while it's burrowed. They just save it.
What a save!
Saves the SCV with the command center. Possibly the only benefit of an basic command center over an orbital or a planetary. 3 starports on the way. Okay, 3 starports. Is he actually gonna do it? Don't you dare just build like 8 Liberators at a time, ByuN. Don't you tease me like this. Alright, this is already... He's maxed out, so he can't. He's got +2 ship weapons done. No. This is not important. What's important is the production tab. ByuN, how dare you? How dare you just keep making Liberators? You just built 3 more star... Tell me you put tech labs on those starports. Put the tech labs on the starports, ByuN. Well, here come the Zerglings. 100 Zerglings, but that number dropping rapidly. As the assault continues in the center of the map. More Liberators in production. The Olympic rings of liberation. Where is the Spire, Reynor? If he's not inspired up the tech tree soon, I have no idea what his plan is to deal with this asphyxiating amount of Liberators. You just cannot. 12 Liberators and counting. Okay, that's too many. It's too many. You cannot deal with this without a Spire. A fool's errand. And I don't like to suffer fools, nor do I like errands. Or Aarons. So, uh-oh. I'm noticing now that we may need to count some beans. By beans, I mean mineral patches and gas gassers, but here we go again. This series has gone on for so long. We're only on game 3! This series has gone on for so long that I forget. Like, game 1 was in another universe. Like, that was the prequel to this whole series, it feels like. 3 more make a decision, ByuN. He just put reactors on all those starports. He's over here playing Desert Strike. Ah. Meanwhile, Reynor is going to... Alright, the mules will drop. As the income shoots back. Well... Quite a volatile situation. The volley fire of the ghosts. A bunch of them gonna be taken out, but the medevacs will evacuate. They got slots for 12. Reynor with over 9,000 minerals and 1,500 gas in the bank. So I don't think we're gonna be in that same scenario we saw on Arrowhome. Where he manages to actually leave 5,000 gas on the tip. What is this? The Industrial Revolution is happening over here. This is a real game. This is a real, like... I mean... This is... Well, I don't. Reynor has 10,000 minerals. He's got 115 lings on the field. He's lost 600. And he has yet to build a single spire. I say that because, like, at this point, build like 3 of them. Greater spire and 2 upgrades. Oh, no. All right. Let's start counting. These gas gases are full. These ones are pretty fresh. There's still a lot of resources on the map. They've already chunked through about 60, 70,000, but your nuclear launch, I forgot about that. I think ByuN did as well, to be honest. Oh, that's a very dead ghost. Oh, my. Ooh, right in the moon water. Oh, Lurkers pull back. There we are. 2 spires on the way. As Reynor finally inspired to explore the rest of the tech tree. Notably, no ultras. Brandon, no! More drones will go down. Unfortunately, Reynor can only afford approximately 250 more. That sounds low. 52 times 10, 20 times 10. No, that was about right. Actually, a little high. Get over. Parasitic bomb into abduct. Making these medevacs as dead as possible. They die with ghosts inside, but now the Liberators are the next phase of the attack. And it's just Liberators overhead, but Reynor is running out of anti-air options. Because, believe it or not, like 15 Liberators is maybe a bit too tough of a nut to crack here. Greater Spire on the way. Flyer attack, level 1. It was Reynor with over 9,000 minerals, yet only 2,200 gas. I just want to look at ByuN's base some more. Like, this had, like, I love the snow as winter. Let's just appreciate the aesthetics here. ByuN out here playing a campaign mission. It's not the first time, and it probably won't be the last. As, he's building, like, the AI with, like, random production facilities everywhere. Well. The ghosts. Just chilling. Picked up into their chauffeurs. Not all of them, but enough. Wow, there are 20 Liberators! There's more Liberators than there are anti-air units for Reynor. And I will tell you right now that a Liberator can easily deal with multiple Hydras before it gets taken out, especially if it's already positioned. He has advanced ballistics, right? Yeah, of course. You can tell by the way it is. Isn't that neat? Parasitic Bomb will soften it up. The Zerglings. The Liberators stoically hold position. I mean, they don't have much of a choice. Wow, that's just disrespectful. Parasitic Bomb just doesn't do enough damage, and it doesn't stack. Much like Yamato Cannon not doing AoE damage, it's one of those things people kind of just assume, but is not true. All right. Would somebody just go on the internet and tell lies? Wow, Reynor is not he's not. Okay, Reynor is just not. He does not want to play this game anymore. Now, can I blame him? No. Am I surprised? A little. He had 8,800 minerals, 4,000 gas, and 0 motivation to continue fighting against that unit composition. Wow. Well. That is 2 points to ByuN. And now we go into everyone's favorite, Hellscape. All right. Yes, Reynor faces Hellscape for match point. After ByuN gets the technical knockout, I mean... Now, could Reynor have maybe fought that out? That felt a lot different than Game 1. That felt like ByuN clearly had the composition, and he was working toward, like, if they keep fighting, it could just be another 2 minutes. It's not going to be, hey, you want to 1v1 me mid. 1v1 me scouts and knives, rust, snipers only. Okay. Kids nowadays don't play scouts and knives, do they? I remember. Shout out, not to your mother, but to my mother. Yes. Thank you, by the way, for being supportive after being very stressed of hearing that I intended to make a career out of talking about video games. But I remember commentating a Counter-Strike tournament for charity, Gamers for Giving, a long time ago. And she was like, well, why would you... This is a terrible game. Okay, Counter-Strike, they're real people, okay? And sometimes the terrorists win. Bless her heart. When I'm like, well, you know, technically the game I play involves murder on an exponentially larger scale. Like, literally hundreds, if not thousands of sentient beings. Not phrased like this. But, like, there are literally thousands of people dying in sometimes every game. Every tournament. It's like, yeah, but one team is a tragedy. One Terran versus Zerg is a statistic, as the saying goes. And let's be honest, her reading glasses aren't strong enough to see each individual Marine. I do wish you could zoom in. Where's our third person? Now, I'm expecting, so I've seen a lot of news. Every 6 months, a third, every 6 months or so, we get a valid, credible rumor of one of my favorite games finally getting a third edition. Ignore that drop. Okay? You're like, yes, StarCraft 3. No, Titanfall 3. No, PlanetSide 3. No, Half-Life 3. But if there's going to be a StarCraft 3, rest in pieces, Reaper. You may have seen that Blizzard is now potentially licensing the StarCraft IP to some of the Korean game publishers. You might be like, finally, StarCraft 3! I've seen the clickbait. Yes, you guys have phones, don't you? Because these game publishers make a whole bunch of mobile games and other cash grabs and are almost certainly never going to make an RTS. Everyone who made StarCraft what it was no longer is at Blizzard or at any of these game companies. Sorry to rain on your parade. StarCraft 2 is what we have. You're like, yes, but StarCraft 2 is 15 years old. Okay, like, how long can a game keep going? To which I say, hey, Brood War fans. Okay, you've made it this far in the video. I know Brood War is better. Okay, we all agree on that, right? But my eyes hurt, even watching the remastered version for a while. And my wrists hurt trying to play it. And I'm not that old, my friend. Yes, some of us are into our 40s and still angry at Protoss. But we can't all have that sort of stamina. So, I'm not sure where I'm going with this point. Besides eventually ending up at the important, profound moment of asking you to like and subscribe. But much like ByuN going for a hellbat timing, something doesn't necessarily need to be good for it to still be relevant. So let's see if today is the day when a hellbat timing actually does something. All right? There's always, like, once every 10 or so TVZs, we see a hellbat timing. The queens will get Brenda, Susan, Lucille, Jennifer, yes, Karen, come on, Brenda, calm down. It's just hellbats. Yes, but maybe today. No, not today. He just turned around. Karen, when I say we're attacking, Will you come with me? All right? We have to be on the same team here. There's a whole thing going. We got a hive mind. I don't see a hive. Dude, I don't even see a lair. It's... Hellbats? No longer. Aliens are back. All right. ByuN decides that he wants to stop the disaster before it starts. Turns the Hellbats right back. And here we are. Roaches and lings on the way. The hellscape full of Hellions. But Reynor pretty comfortably... Wait, is this a roachling all? He just keeps building units. Oh, the queens? Reynor is all inning. A bold move. Again, well, ByuN actually didn't go 3 bases. For once, he actually fully committed to the timing. The queens are making sure the Hellions regret it. The Zerglings are sneaking around the north side. I just want to see one macro game on this map, guys. Like, of all the maps, I've seen this map like 6 times, and every single time has been some sort of 2-base all-in. It's a really cool looking map, too. But here we go. I mean, well, what does ByuN have? Stim is about to complete no other upgrades. Reynor has half a dozen Ravagers, a bunch of Roaches. It's a bit optimistic trying to attack into this position with 2 siege tanks already. He pulls back with the Roaches. Wave of Corrosive Bow comes out. Mr. Zergachev, tear down this... okay, we're doing the whole thing. Tear down this wall. I just wanted to complete the quote. The depots. ByuN actually pretty hard supply blocked here. 13 more drones on the way as both players have now kind of pulled back from the brink of their all-in. Few drones gonna get pin cushioned. Oh, that's a big pin. From the Liberator. ByuN is moving out. Probably not recognize. Why is there an SCV? Woo! Overtime! He's got totally intentional. The SCV very committed to its job of repairing. Had a life debt. Zerglings getting into the natural. Meanwhile, ByuN going forward. The Queen's with this. ByuN, his tank's not sieged. Gonna lose a big chunk of the army right off the bat. The transfuse is coming through. Neither player really paying attention to this fight. 22 SCVs dead. Now Reynor under fire in every sense of the word. The hellscape full of hellbats. But the Queens are holding it together. With 25 SCVs dead. ByuN down 40 workers. And Reynor, did he finish road speed? No. He just started it. I think he just realized. ByuN caught out on the counterattack. And Reynor's up 50 supply. I can believe it. But at the same time, oh my, I think we're going to game 5. At least this one. Well, okay, so there's a real chance that ByuN with his upgrades, he even has +1 mech weapons. There's a real chance that he hits Reynor so hard, but Reynor holds. And we go to a much more drawn-out game. So I don't want to count my larvae before they hatch right now. Like that. The Zerglings. Cutting off the reinforcements. This is it. This is what ByuN has. Reynor clearly waiting for his upgrades. 1-1. Missile attacks in Carapace. Completing. Road speed a little further off. The Queen's in position. Trying to hold. I don't think he's gonna... Well, 10 seconds on road speed. The medevacs are nearly out of energy, and there's only a few of them. That hatchery under fire. The Zergling counter. More reinforcements coming for ByuN. Reynor has so much more army supply. The reinforcements are cut off. The Roaches and Ravagers in position. The tanks obliterating the Queens. But ByuN getting shaved down. Still 4 siege tanks with, like, the +1 attack. But I don't know if that's enough as Reynor comes in with the entire swarm. And eventually, with great effort, will break the push and send us to game number 5. Here we go again. We'll see what the ley lines hold for us. Thank you again to Team Basilisk Roddy for putting these events together. I really like the curated show matches every week as opposed to just, you know, the tournaments. I think there's a place for both. But really appreciate it. So once more, if you could check them out, give a subscribe on the YouTube channel. It'd be awesome as well, because then they'd be like, where am I getting all these subscribers from? Despite the fact we didn't even upload anything today. And actually, it doesn't tell you on YouTube. I don't know if there's a way to see that. But, you know, the idea is what counts. As we load into the final match, assuming it does not end in a draw, but technically we would just play the same map again until we get a decisive conclusion. And what has already been... This is approaching... I don't know if I've ever... Like, even if this game ends in 2 minutes. And while you're spoiling yourself, just like and subscribe if you can. Even if it ends in 2 minutes, this may be the longest best of 5 I've ever seen. Well, there was another... Dark versus ByuN. With a draw. Was about 2 hours. I think we passed the mark. Or we're about to, so here's your real talk as well. I usually, unless we can really do some crazy anti-spoiler, usually have an idea of how many games are played. I don't know how long the games are, but sometimes I can tell from the file sizes. But the file sizes can be misleading, because if a lot of observers were in the game, the file size, like, you know, when a game is approaching a megabyte, that's a massive game, even with observers. But if there's a lot of other people observing the game in the replay, it can give a misconstrued idea. I can't find the word. Oh, no. I can't speak. Which is problematic. A false idea. Okay, we'll go with that. Not exactly what I wanted, but... So I'll be like, oh, this game's going to be like 30 minutes long. And then it ends up being 16 minutes because there were just literally 12 observers in the game. And since the game tracks the observing of all the players, or casters or whatever, that's what increases it. Not that I don't know why I'm talking about this. This is, nobody cares. But, so the summary is sometimes I know how many games there are, which, to be honest, is a bit of a spoiler for me, unfortunately. So I knew we had 5 games here today. But, well, we'll see how it ends now. I do my best to minimize it. And it truly is about how good the games are rather than the actual outcome. I always get a little bit upset in an unproductive way. People are like, well, I think a main offender is Clem. I went to the end and I saw Clem win. Well, if you're watching Clem win, you just know. Since he plays in so many series, we only pick out specific ones. Okay, so there's some of the best games out there. Yes, he makes it look easy. ByuN, clearly a more scrappy Terran player, despite being the spiritual father of Clem's gameplay. Clem just has that precision that ByuN, I don't know if it's that he never had, or maybe he's just in his elder age. As he reached the 30s, most of my target demographic, well, you get a little less precise with the micro. But the macro is still clearly there. The strategy, and he's been able to outlast Reynor in 2 games thus far. So we'll see if he can make it a 3rd. Queen's still trundling around. Brenda, I'm trying to sneak up on them. Oh, yeah. When they say BBB, they don't mean big brain Bouts. They mean big booty Brenda. You're gonna have to ask someone to edit that out because that was just painful. I don't think I will. All right. Jimmy. Actually, I think it's Basilisk Big Brain Bouts, so it's like BBBB, technically. The Roaches. Reynor, seeing some success with Roaches, has decided to pull them out yet again. This time around, a much more macro-oriented style, as 60 drones in 5 minutes. They layer on the way, and +1 Carapace, just the Carapace upgrade, indicating he wants to keep those options open. Carapace applying to all the Zerg on the ground. Though unfortunately not the buildings. Make melee attack upgrades benefit spine crawlers. That's not a hill I'll die on, but it's certainly a hill I'll yell weird things from. Evo chamber block, well done, and minimizes the damage. Citizen's arrest. Ooh, a few drones lining up. Gets 2 in total, but... what do we got headed towards the main? 2 Banshees. Cloak? No. We're going... we don't need cloak, because we flew right into a spore crawler. Banshees. Taking a lot of damage. 3 kills in total between the Hellions and the Banshees. Great defense from Reynor across the board. Infestation pit already on the way. He's going to be at 80 drones at 6 minutes. That has to be some sort of record. While actually this isn't like a unit trainer with no opponent. He's at 80 drones at 6 minutes with an infestation pit double upgrades on the way. This is about as macro as it gets. Meanwhile, ByuN, no slouch. He's got 60. Armory. Oh, just straight up macro. With the exception of the Hellscape. Double Baneling Nest. Ooh. Bold move. And right next to each other, too. I think that might have been supposed to be a Hydra Den. Pretty sure it's supposed to be a Hydra Den. Oh. Yeah, always good to have a decoy Baneling Nest. One of those things that really doesn't matter much. It's not that expensive. Getting the upgrade is. Comparatively. But the drops coming in. The Marines don't even have combat shield. The Roaches not willing to engage without some support. A few Zerglings might provide it. A little bit of a skirmish here in the bottom right corner of the map. And the Roaches closing in. Queen also looking to get involved, though not really relevant at this moment. Just saying. Hive is nearly complete as we speed run to the late game yet again. Will this finally be the game for Ultras? We haven't even seen Ricky the accidental swarm host. So... tank push coming together. Drilling Claw's already on the way behind. 2-2. Baneling speed still far off. The Zergling counterattack setup. Trying to cut up some... maybe cut off some reinforcements. The Banshee's coming to cover. Without Baneling speed, the Siege Tank's able to take big bites out of the Banelings. But they will eventually be overrun. The Corrosive Biles combining to take them down. And Reynor holds for now. The double Bane nest. There it is. Beautiful. Bane speed done. Now I wonder, was it just a mistake or did he mean to build a Hydrogen? I mean, I don't know how you would do that very easily, but... Because no Hydras. Hive is done. He doesn't have adrenal glands, nor Hydras, aka or Lurkers. No Ultra Cavern. So what's it gonna be, Reynor? 2 Vipers on the way. Adrenal glands? Not yet. But sprinting up to Hive and then just kind of sitting around there with no tech is obviously not the ideal. A bunch of Zerglings wander by the Marines on a move command, unfortunately, and we'll get gunned down. ByuN nearly maxed out. He picks up 4 medevacs and he heads for the main. Some of the Marines taking a less than ideal path, but a siege tank covering them from the high ground. I don't think the Zerglings spotted it. The medevacs will blast past an Overlord, which will sound the alarm. Lings and Banes scrambling back to the main. Still no adrenal glands from Reynor, which is definitely a mistake at this stage. Lings and Banes coming through. A single Widow Mine will combine to crush this attack, and now Reynor notices. Meanwhile, another attack. Widow Mine hits the Vipers, but the Queens pull them back together with the Transfuse. Another set of mines just blasting their way through as Reynor holds the line across the board. Still no other Hive tech, though. Just mass Zergling, Baneling, which is good right up until it isn't. More and more Widow Mines being added in. Ghost Academy is on the way for ByuN. 3 more command centers as he builds the Iron Bank. A Spore Crawler in position to zone out some of these medevacs. More Zerglings to overrun. Oh no, that Widow Mine! Yeah, not great, not terrible. More Spores on the way. Siege tanks starting to rack up the kills from the high ground. Another command center looking to land as ByuN establishing his 5th base. Reynor right now on 5. Make that 6. I didn't count the one down the center. Fusion core. But I have no hope he's going to go battle cruisers. That's what I was hinting at the last game before Reynor so dramatic. Wait, no, that was 2 games ago. It's all blending together. Adrenal glands may complete momentarily. Having a little sucky suck on the hatcheries here. All right, I don't know. How would you describe it? The Vipers taking a sip. I prefer building like 6 Evo chambers to give the Vipers a snack whenever they're interested. And technically, you get enough Queens and Transfuse, you can have sustainable Viper energy, which doesn't really seem worth it. But, you know, theoretically, it'd be fun. Goes on the way. Lings and Banes across the field. Hydraless Den. Finally. Will be the choice from Reynor. Thought he may try to finish this one way or another with the Roachling Bane. The few Marines surviving from the Doom Drop. Still quite a thorn in Reynor's side up to the north. May actually end up canceling the base there. Stims him. 3-3 on the way. ByuN about to complete it. The Queens. Get off my creep! Brenda 1, it wasn't creep yet. It's about the idea, Susan. I'm not going over this again with you. Sorry, I blacked out for the Zerglings. Eating a couple massive mine hits, but more dragged out down the center. Parasitic bomb across the board. The medevacs pick them up on the way out. At this point, if everyone's parasitic bombs, no one does. Well, there's no real point in splitting the medevacs if almost every single one is hit by it. Meanwhile, a double drop in the bottom right corner. He notices the drones. They try to burrow down, forces out the scan. But 24 drones will be slaughtered before Reynor can respond. And the hatchery is taken out as well. Advanced ballistics on the way. 4 more command centers. Reynor has 4,000 minerals in the bank, 1,200 gas. But there's 4 liberators at a time. 4 command centers in production. Hydra speed is just now about to complete. The map. Please don't tell me I have to get out the counter again, guys. Oh, no. The bean counter is waiting for its moment, but we're still far off. Caduceus Reactor queued up on the way. I gotta say, I appreciate ByuN's commitment to those late game upgrades. Queuing up high-sec auto-tracking. Well, this time he's getting building armor and not high-sec auto-tracking. Odd. But 3 more orbital commands on the way, going to give him 8. The Ocho. Plus 2 plating for mech. Reynor. Building another wave of banelings. The Liberators looking for an opportunity. Ghost, is there a nuke? No. We saw 1 nuke so far in the series. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the last, just not really worth the expenditure. Four Liberators at a time still. We'll see if Reynor comes up with a more direct response. And now we have the Liberators covering the drops, I think, in order to form something of a beachhead. Liberation Day here. And a Venn diagram of freedom beautifully right down the center. He needs a spire. Reynor needs a spire. He doesn't have a spire. He knocks out 1 over the lava, but there's more Liberators. 2 more starports on advanced. You can't hit it. Reynor, please. Please, Reynor. Be inspired. He has 1800 gas. There's no real excuse besides either hubris, spite, or some combination of the two. Gonna clean things up. Decides to just evade it. That Liberator going to be denying the mining at the base in the bottom right corner until Reynor decides that Liberators are a good skill. Spire is a good skill toy have. 5 more command centers on the way. How many Zerg? 116 Zerglings on the map and 0 spires. Center base, elevator push. Huge attack to the left flank. Reynor only has 60 drones. He just built another round. He lost so many in that bottom right corner. Trying to clear up those Liberators. Bashes through the planetary fortress. 22 SCVs go down with it. Ghost lining up some shots. The Overseer a little late to the party here. Meanwhile, the hatchery down the center was taken out by the expeditionary force that landed on the high ground. The Liberators to cover. Reynor. 4 more Liberators at a time. What? Random Ghost. Obliterated by Banelings. Reynor still with a huge bank here. Oh. Medevac with no HP. Another couple taken down. ByuN cannot afford critical losses. Oh my. We don't mind. Another chunk. The Liberators covering. ByuN just expands down the center. He's making 2 planetaries. Has 8 Liberators at a time. Reynor will learn to build a spire or he will die underneath a map-wide liberation zone. It's literally... there are 12 of them. He's building, so he's going to have 18 Liberators. There is no other answer. Like, at some point, the liberation zones will cover more of the map than Creep does. He's trying to use Vipers. But... ByuN right now, teaching the youngin' a lesson. This Liberator. Reynor still has money in the bank. He could smash a base or 2 and suddenly ByuN's out of money. It doesn't matter. All you need to do is catch the Liberators out once. And that resets everything. Then the fact that ByuN has 4 starports makes it a little harder to call that a real reset, but... 100 Zerglings on the map. The wall is shut in the face of the Lings. They'll try to rip it down. Some more command centers taken out. Hydras will take out 1 of the Liberators. Another hatchery with a lot of drones at it, though. And the Liberators kind of scattered throughout the map. Going to be taken out 1 by 1. 6 more. 20 SCVs dead. Is there a lurker dead? No. How many orbitals? 10 orbital commands. So ByuN only really needs SCVs for building and mining gas. I think the mules will handle But he builds 6 more anyways at a time. 8 liberate. Reynor. Yes, Reynor would beat me 100 times out of 100. But you need a Spire. Well, we'll see. I've been wrong so many times before. 3 Liberators taken out. The depot's lower, out of solidarity, I guess. As one of them was taken down. The Lings and Banes. The Liberator's nowhere to be seen, and that means the double planetary will just be smashed by the Banelings. The other taken out by the Hydras. Widowmine's gonna help out. Zerglings breaking into the buildings. Some of the drones with the army as well. Interesting choice. Burrows a few dozen Lings in the main. And ByuN is almost broke. He only has so much money, has to take out another Liberator. The mules will rain down a deluge. Oh my. And, well, let's take a, I'm sitting there. We're just gonna wait it out. It is only 1 base. So mule. All right. Looks like the Zerg just imposed another 69% tariffs on income. As the mules will take full advantage. Reynor. Okay, so there is a max amount of income because mules will interrupt the mining of other mules. They don't overlap with SCVs, but you can only efficiently mine from, like, if you see they're actually working like SCVs there. That's usually why you don't rain down. I think he has it on rapid fire, though, where he holds it down for a quarter second and 15 mules just rain down from the sky. Like a small loan of 1 million minerals there, but Reynor managed to reestablish 2-3 bases. And has also... Why are there 3 ghosts here? Those ghosts getting canceled like every version of the game named after them. Randomly. And with great prejudice. More mules dropping to the north. There's still 10 orbital commands. The liberation wave. The spirograph of liberation. I don't know. We're well past Venn diagrams at this point. The Vipers yanks out a couple. But wait, there's more! There's still 16! Reynor has lost 600 Zerglings. Many, many Zerglings were harmed in the making of this series. 15 more SCVs dead. Banelings coming through the center, but the Liberators from downtown. ByuN is down to 23 SCVs, but that might actually be a good thing for him. Another orbital is taken out. A Bioforce brawling with the Roach Hydra. Hatchery is taken down the center. Reynor still with 61 drones. Well, the Liberators. Parasitic Bomb might be helpful here. A few more ghosts get caught out. Parasitic Bomb on the Medivacs, dragging it through everything. ByuN tries to stop the spread, but 4 more Vipers. He will build 10 Vipers before he builds a single Spire. All right, that's how it is. There's a no Spire challenge. And certainly a challenge to watch. I mean, he's killed so many ghosts. ByuN has been incredibly sloppy with the ghosts. There's still 7 on the field and 15 Liberators overhead, though. Reynor maintains the max out. ByuN is also maxed out. 166 army supply. He's got +2 ship weapons and +3 plating. Building more SCVs. He's like 30 is a bit low. Okay, fair enough. Liberation is at hand. As the leapfrogging across the map. There's no attacking into that. The Zerglings Desperately trying to take down the sensor tower. That was a little sad. The Viper count. We're not talking about the Age of Empires Pro here, but instead all 7 of them. Yanks out another lib. EMP off the mark. ByuN's bank getting dangerously close to Reynor's, or maybe the other way around. Reynor has lost 10,000 more minerals, but 2,000 less gas. So, you know what? It's kind of working. EMP hits every Viper. Oh, what just happened to that Liberator? Yeeted off the map. But the ground army, 64 more Zerglings. And both sides are starting to run out of money, despite the fact there's still so many bases. A brutal, absolutely brutal slugfest. Over 80,000 resources lost in less than 25 minutes. Reynor's able to remax out. ByuN struggling to do so. Reynor's taken the 6 o'clock position, and he's actually mining from it. Still has 50 drones. And ByuN, the downside of Liberators is an inability to really shove out onto the map as reliably. You don't have the boots on the ground, quite literally. And without them, it's a lot harder to reliably move forward. That Spore Crawler just got... Ooh. Goals, right? This is happening. Widowmine and Zergling burrowed next to each other. Forbidden love. Zergling doesn't know what's nearby. The Zergling's trying to jump. No. Oh my. Oh wow. It's a bloodbath. I don't know. 3 Marines for 47 Zerglings. The Liberator and Hydra exchanged to the south. What happened to Banelings, by the way? Are Banelings still a thing? Is 31 of them. The army, Hydras, Lings, and Banes, as it's been for the vast majority of this game. Another hatchery going to be taken down. No Overseer nearby. Okay, one comes in, picks up, gets out for now. We don't mind taken down, but Reynor struggling across the board. Widowmines continue to take their toll. Liberators poking and prodding at the surviving drones. A random missile turret. Another planetary will be taken down, but the ghost behind the Marauder might actually kill off a few more of these. No, reinforcements come in. Reynor going to try to smash down the center planetary fortress. Blinding cloud abducts. EMP across the board. Parasitic bomb doing terrible, terrible damage, and Widowmines dragged onto the field. And while the parasitic bombs are a lot, he burrows some Banelings in the front. But ByuN now has a 30 supply lead. Reynor at 112 to 169. If he wasn't able to do it with the advantage, I have my doubts about this position. The ghost taken out. The Overseer targeted, but a little late for all but one of the ghosts. And I fear that this game might not end with a bang, but instead with a slow, inevitable, yet entirely predictable slide into poverty. As so many things do. Reynor with... He's lost 990 Zerglings. ByuN's lost 99 SCPs, 31 Liberators, but he still has 160 army supply on the field. A few more SCVs will be run over, trying to mine from a base that hasn't been for quite a while. SCV rally points have not been ByuN's strong suit throughout this game, but he's holding most of the cards right now. And the Banelings are not enough. GG! After far too long and no time at all, ByuN will claim victory. Or at least survival. 3-2. Well, it ends. Hopefully, you enjoyed. Hopefully it made a significant percentage of your day just a little bit better. Go get some more pizza rolls. And thank you again to Team Basilisk. Make sure to check them out if you haven't. Link in the description. Jimmy, please. And if you got the means and motivation, it'd be awesome to check out Patreon. or YouTube membership, but I hear liking and subscribing is still free, at least for now. So truly, thank you for watching. I hope I made your day a little bit better. Thanks to our Mule tier patrons for all those extra minerals, as we saw. Big Jiggy, Davendor, Mario, Random Guy Suit. Very glad you still enjoy. And everyone, I'll see you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Stay chill.